Hello everyone, this is part 6 video on past year NEET questions from the chapter hydrocarbons. Now those who are looking at this video can also take a look at the previous 5 parts so that you will have continuity of questions. We will start with a question that has come in the year 2001. The correct acidic order of the following is. So we have compound 1 phenol and compound 2 is paramethyl phenol. Compound 3 is paranitrophenol. So here we need to compare them in terms of the acidic order. So phenols will have the acidic nature because of the resonance stabilization of the phenoxide ion. So what is phenoxide ion? So from phenol, if the H plus is released, then the anion that is formed is called as what? Phenoxide ion. So the phenoxide ion will be resonance stabilized as the negative charge will get delocalized into the ring, and that is the reason for the stability of the phenoxide ion. So the resonance stability of the phenoxide ion is the reason for the acidic nature of phenols. So if you look at this particular question, right, the anion that is formed after the release of H plus. So if you look at the anions that will be formed, so from phenol we will of course get phenoxide ion. Then we have the paramethyl phenoxide ion. Then we will have paranitro. Okay, phenoxide ion. So more the stability of the phenoxide ion, that means that particular substance, previous compound 1 or 2 or 3 will easily undergo the protonation. So whichever, in these anions, right, whichever is more stable means the corresponding original compound will be what? It will be more acidic. So if this compound is more stable means these ions are more stable means what? The formation of the ions is happening easily, means the protonation of that particular acid is happening with ease. So it means that particular acid will be a strong acid. Now with that as the basis, right, so here phenoxide ion is the reference. Now when you compare the paramethyl and paranitro, so methyl group will show a plus R effect based on the hyperconjugation. Based on the hyperconjugation, the plus R effect will be shown by the methyl group. So as a result, what would happen is the ortho and para positions will get the negative charge accumulation. Now in case of nitro, it will be minus R effect, where the ortho para will become electron deficit, means they will get positive charge based on the resonance structures. So the carbon that is directly attached to the O minus, in this case of methyl, we see that the carbon itself is getting negative charge. The carbon that is directly bonded to O minus is getting negative charge. So since this carbon is already getting a negative charge because of the plus R effect of the methyl group, this will not have that much tendency for pulling away the negative charge of O minus. The negative charge of O minus should be pulled away towards the ring. Whereas if you look at the nitro anion, here the carbon is getting a positive charge. Means in comparison to the original phenoxide ion, where carbon will have no charge, here because of the minus R effect of the nitro group, this carbon is getting a partial positive charge. So as a result of it, this will be able to pull the electron density on the O minus ion more strongly than what it is in the case of the phenoxide ion. So hence what we see is the delocalization of the negative charge in oxygen will happen more strongly in this case. Delocalization is going to happen more strongly, means this compound 3, right, is going to be more acidic, and the delocalization of the paramethyl compound will be lesser than the phenol itself, means what? The compound 2 is going to be the least acidic. So which means the correct order will be what? The acidic order 3 will be the most acidic, then comes 1, then comes 2. 2 will be the least acidic. So the correct answer for this is option B. 3 will be the most acidic and 2 will be the least acidic. So here we are trying to explain this question based on the stability of the anion formed after the protonation. After the release of H plus, more stable the anion formed means the corresponding acid will be a strong acid. So the anion will be easily formed means what? If you have an acid like this HA, okay, so it will be giving us H plus and A minus. If A minus is more stable means what? If A minus is more stable means that the corresponding acid is easily be able to undergo that dissociation, means the acid will be what? It is going to be a strong acid. So we are explaining this question based on the stability of the anion formed after the protonation. So this is one of the method that we can use to explain the stability of the acids. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2000. The increasing order of electrophilic substitution for the following compounds. So we have compound 1 benzene, that is generally the reference that we take. See, electrophilic substitution means what? There are groups which will activate the ring. Generally the plus R effect groups, right? They will be activating the ring. So the ortho para positions, they will become electron rich and they would activate the ring. Minus R groups means they will deactivate the ring. So when we talk about activating or deactivating, we are referring to the electrophilic substitution type of reactions shown by the benzene and benzene derivatives. Okay. Now in this, of course, there is an exception. The exception is when we have just halogens, a chlorine or a bromine or a fluorine or an iodine, just a halogen atom attached to benzene ring. They will be ortho para directing. They will be ortho para directing, but still they will deactivate the ring. So why? Because in case of the halogens, they show plus R effect, but they also show minus I effect because of high electronegativity, and this will be a dominating effect. Generally the resonance will be a dominating effect in all the other cases except in the case of the halogens directly attached to the benzene ring. Okay, so now let us come to the problem over here. So we have here the comparison. So increasing order of the electrophilic substitution we have to represent. So if you look at what is there attached to benzene, we have a methyl group. So methyl group will show plus R effect because of the hyperconjugation structures. So what is a hyperconjugation structure? So if you have the benzene, so we have a methyl group. So 3 hydrogens are bonded to methyl. So the bond electrons can be used for forming an additional bond with the carbon of the benzene, where the hydrogen will be left out without any bond. That is what we call as the no bond resonance structures. That is the concept of hyperconjugation. So we'll see that the carbon here will get a negative charge, and this is the kind of so now the negative charge can be delocalized further. So ortho para will become negative charged, which means the ring is effectively getting a higher electron charge. So the electron density on the ring is overall increasing, but this increase will not be that significant, but nevertheless it will be a slight increase in the electron density of the ring. So what happens is the activity of toluene. So what is methyl benzene is also called as what? Toluene. So the activity of toluene will be definitely more than the benzene. Okay, so we are able to see one thing, 2 will be more than 1. Okay, now if you look at the compound 3, which is OCH3 attached to the benzene. So this is anisole. So what is this compound? This is also called as what? Anisole. Okay, so here we have an OR group attached to the benzene. So OR group will be a plus R effect group. What is OR group? It will be a plus R effect group. So oxygen will have the lone pair of electrons that can be rotated towards the ring, and this would mean that the ring is going to be activated. So here the ring will activate to a larger extent than what is in the case of the toluene. Okay, so here the plus R effect of the OCH3 group will be more prominent than the plus R effect that is shown by the methyl group. So hence the compound 3 will be more reactive than 2. Now coming to compound 4, which is CF3 attached to benzene. So CF3 means what? Carbon is bonded to 3 fluorines. Now because of the minus I effect of the fluorines, right, the carbon will become very much electron deficit. So overall the CF3 also will start showing minus I effect, means it will try to pull away the electron density from the ring. So which means the electron density on the ring will be lesser than what it is in the case of the benzene itself. Means the compound 4 will be lesser reactive than the base, which is of course the benzene. So what do we see? 4 will be less than 1, less than 2, less than 3. So we can see what is the correct answer for this. Option A will be the correct answer. Okay, so here we are writing it in the decreasing order, 3 more than 2 more than 1 more than 4. But if we check the options, right, they are giving the options in terms of increasing order. So we have to be careful in checking that part. What is the increasing order? It will be 4 less than 1 less than 2 less than 3. So here the comparison of why the OCH3 group will be able to activate the ring more than the CH3 group. Okay, because otherwise CF3 will deactivate. So CF3 attached benzene will have a lesser reactivity for the electrophilic substitution than benzene itself. The question will be between the compound 2, toluene, and compound 3, which is anisole. The plus R effect will be more prominent in the case of OCH3 group than CH3 group, because CH3 group the plus R effect is shown due to the hyperconjugation, which will be a weaker effect. But in the compound 3, the plus R effect is shown because of the delocalization of lone pair of electrons present on oxygen. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 2000. In Friedel-Crafts reaction, toluene can be prepared by. So how do we prepare toluene? So Friedel-Crafts reaction, we must get the CH3 plus as the substituting electrophile. So we have benzene, which is C6H6 reacting with methyl chloride in the presence of AlCl3. So what the AlCl3, because it is a Lewis acid, it will react with CH3Cl. AlCl3, it will form AlCl4 minus, and it will produce the electrophile R plus. So the R plus will get substituted onto the benzene ring. This is the mechanism for the Friedel-Crafts alkylation. So the correct answer for this is option A. We have benzene, methyl chloride, and AlCl3, Lewis acid. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 2000. Which reagent converts propene to 1-propanol? So we have to convert propene into 1-propanol. So what is propene? Let's just draw the structure. Propene will have a structure like this: CH3, CH double bond, CH2. This is propene. We must convert this into 1-propanol, means CH3, CH2, CH2OH. See, normal, this is like addition of H2O, right? Normal addition of H2O will follow the Markovnikov addition rule. So Markovnikov addition would mean what? The addition of H2O means what? One carbon will be getting a hydrogen, one carbon gets OH group. The hydrogen goes to carbon that is already having more hydrogens, means it will go to, let's look at carbon 1, it will go, and OH will go to carbon 2. So we will actually get, as per the Markovnikov addition, we will be getting this compound CH3, CHOH, CH3. We will get 2-propanol. Okay, but we are looking to get 1-propanol. So we must get 1-propanol. So what must be happening is the anti-Markovnikov addition. So option A, right, is what? Simple. H2O in the presence of an acid will be the addition as per the Markovnikov rule. It will not give us 1-propanol, it will be giving us 2-propanol, and that is not what we are looking for. So we are looking for getting 1-propanol. So it means the addition must be happening as per the anti-Markovnikov rule. The second reagent is B2H6 in the presence of H2O2 and a base. So we can also write it as either B2H6 or BH3. So the hydroboration oxidation. So what is this reaction? Hydroboration oxidation. Either we will say BH3 or B2H6. Okay. So hydroboration oxidation in the presence of a base will follow the anti-Markovnikov addition rule, where the final compound we will get will be the one that will be coming as per the anti-Markovnikov addition of water for the alkene. So anti-Markovnikov addition means we are going to get what? 1-propanol. So we'll just quickly look at what happens in the hydroboration oxidation reaction. I'll just erase this part so that we'll have some space to work out. Okay, so what is this hydroboration oxidation? First, to the alkene, the BH3, even if you take B2H6, right, that will get dissociated into BH3 units. B2H6 will get dissociated into 2 units of BH3. BH3 will get added onto the alkene, so it will form a complex. And the complex on oxidation, it will be giving us the final alcohol, which will be the alcohol that will come based upon the anti-Markovnikov rule. Okay, so this will be the mechanism for the hydroboration oxidation. Sometimes, we can even see the same reaction represented as B2H6 in the presence of THF, tetrahydrofuran, which is a solvent. Okay, so that is also the same reaction, which is hydroboration oxidation in the presence of a base. And option C, so we got our answer. What is it? Option D. Option C is what? The mercury salt of the acetic acid and in the presence of NaBH4 and water. This is what? Oxymercuration. So oxymercuration is also a reaction where we will get the conversion of alkene into alcohol, but it will be the Markovnikov product, means we are going to get propan-2-ol. Aqueous KOH is for the conversion of the alkyl halides into alcohols, where we will have the nucleophilic substitution. This is not for converting the alkenes into alcohols, it is for converting alkyl halides into alcohols. Okay, so the correct answer for this is option B. Both A and C also will convert alkene into alcohol, but they will give us the Markovnikov product, and the hydroboration oxidation reaction will give us the anti-Markovnikov product. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 2000, which is maximum stable. So if you look at the options, right, what is option A? 1-butene. Option B and C are 2-butene, but one is a cis and other is a trans. See, first if you look at the comparison between the 1-butene and this is 1-butene, okay, and 2-butene. This is 2-butene, okay. The 1-butene and 2-butene, stability of them can be compared based upon the number of possible hyperconjugation structures the alkenes can have. So what do you mean by the hyperconjugation structures of alkenes? If you look at the double bond carbons, the carbons attached to double bond carbons, in this case only, like say we number them as 1 and 2, only the carbon 2 is having one more carbon attached to it. It is having how many hydrogens? 2 hydrogens. These carbons can participate in the hyperconjugation structures, means we will get 2 hyperconjugation structures. How many hyperconjugation structures are possible? 2 hyperconjugation structures are possible. Okay, and here if you look at the double bond carbons, this is 1 and this is 2. This carbon is bonded to one more carbon, which is having 3 hydrogens. This side also, this is bonded to one more carbon, it is having 3 hydrogens. Totally we can have 6 hyperconjugation structures. Okay, so more the number of hyperconjugation structures that we can draw for the alkene, more will be the stability of the alkene. That is why generally there is also saying which says a more substituted alkene. So 2-butene, we can see more substituted. We have one group on this side, one group on that side. 2 groups are there. The way we look at one butene is, okay, so this is the entire double bond and only one ethyl group is attached to the double bond carbon link. So more substituted alkenes will be more stable because they will be able to give us more number of hyperconjugation structures. Like in case of 2-butene, we can have 6 number of hyperconjugation structures. Okay, like the stability of alkenes, if you want to compare them, we will compare it based upon the number of possible hyperconjugation structures that we can draw, especially for the alkenes having the same molecular formula, the isomeric alkenes. Okay, now which means the butene will be more stable than 1-butene. But the question is, will the cis be more stable or trans be more stable? Between cis and trans, right, the trans form where the bulkier methyl groups are on opposite side, the repulsions between them will be minimal or least repulsions will be there. If you look at cis-butene, right, cis-butene, both the methyl groups will be on the same side. Both the methyl groups will end up on the same side, means there will be more repulsions between them. So in cis butene, we'll have more repulsions than trans butene. So in trans the repulsions are lesser means what? The stability will be more. So that is the reason why between these given substances, right, trans 2-butene will be more stable one. So first we are concluding which is stable, whether it is a 1-butene or 2-butene. So we got the conclusion, since 2-butene is more substituted alkene, it will have more number of hyperconjugation structures. Again, how do we know what is the number of hyperconjugation structures? We will fix up the double bond carbons. To the double bond carbons, if you look at the carbon that are directly attached, like if you have an alkene like this, I'm just giving an example, okay, think about it. If you have an alkene like this, okay, in this, so all we can call them as what? Alpha carbons. All alpha carbons. Alpha carbons means the carbons that are directly attached to the functional group. A double bond is the functional group. Whatever carbons attached to that functional group will be called as what? Alpha carbons. Alpha carbons, here it is having 3 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens, 3, totally how many are there? 12 hydrogens are there. Means we can have 12 hyperconjugation structures. So this alkene that I am representing here, right, can have how many hyperconjugation structures? 12 hyperconjugation structures. More the number of hyperconjugation structures, more will be the stability of the alkene. Okay, just like in the case of resonance also, right? For any compound, if you are able to draw more number of resonance structures, means more will be the stability of the compound based on the resonance energy of stabilization. Okay, so the correct answer for this is what? Option C, which is the trans 2-butene. First we are able to conclude that okay, 2-butene will be more stable than 1-butene. Then between 2-butene, the transform, not just in this case but generally, right, in any of the geometrical isomers of alkenes, the transform will be not only more stable but also it will be less polar, because the dipole moment, right, dipole moment of the bulkier groups will cancel, the dipole moment of the less bulkier groups also will cancel because they will be on the opposing side. So we will see that the trans isomer will have less polarity nature also. Next we have another question. This is on the geometric isomerism. This is the question that has come in the year 2000. 2-butene shows geometric isomerism due to. So what is 2-butene? So if you look at the 2-butene, this is a compound that we are just now talking about. Okay, so we have talked about two geometrical isomers. One is the cis form of 2-butene. The other one is the trans form of the 2-butene. So why is this cis and trans forms exist? And we might be able to recall that the trans can also be called as the E form, and cis can also be called as the Z form. So cis trans isomerism, geometrical isomerism, it can be also called as the EZ isomerism. Okay, now the reason why we have the geometrical isomerism for the butene is, if we have double bond carbons and each of the double bonded carbons is having two different groups attached. Like here we look at carbon 1, carbon 2. Carbon is having methyl and hydrogen, different groups. Carbon 2 is having methyl and hydrogen, different groups again. Okay, so each of the double bond carbons must itself attach to two different groups. Then what would happen is, the double bond, so if you have a normal single bond, right, the carbon atoms can be rotated with respect to the single bond. And in case of alkanes, it will happen where we have single bonds, and we would be having conformational isomers because of this rotation possibility. But if it is a double bond, then the rotation, free rotation will be not happening. So the rotation will be restricted. So because of the restricted rotation about the double bond, when we look at the arrangement, one possibility will be like here for carbon 1, the bulkier group is methyl. For carbon 2, bulkier is methyl. In one possible arrangement, we can have both the bulkier groups on same side of double bond, like in this case. This arrangement we call it as cis. And in another possibility, we can have the bulkier groups on opposite side of the double bond. That arrangement will be called as a trans arrangement. Okay, so the possibility of the geometrical isomers for butene is because we have restricted rotation about the double bond. So the restricted rotation is what is giving us the cis and the trans form in case of 2-butene. Okay, and also just because we have a double bond does not mean that we always will have geometrical isomers. Like in the case of 1-butene, right? So look at it. In case of 1-butene, there is also double bond here. But if you look at the carbon one, what are the groups attached to carbon one? Both are hydrogens. So 1-butene, the carbon one is having identical groups. So whether we keep the hydrogen here or hydrogen below doesn't matter. It is the same hydrogen group. So 1-butene will not have geometrical isomers. Only 2-butene will have geometrical isomers. Next, we have a question on conformational isomers. Just now only we discussed in the previous class or previous problem. This is a question that has come in the year 2000. The dihedral angle in staggered form of ethane is. So what is the staggered form of ethane? So if you look at it with respect to the carbon atoms, so this is one carbon and the back side will have another carbon, that is the representation. So the hydrogen bonds that are ending at the center, these are the hydrogen attached to the carbon that is facing us, and the bonds which are ending on the edge of the circle, these are the hydrogens attached to the carbon that is on the back side. Okay, that is the representation. Now if you see the dihedral angle, right, what is the dihedral angle? From the eclipsed. So from the eclipsed means the hydrogens would almost be aligning to each other. The hydrogens of the carbon which is facing us and the hydrogen of the carbons that are on the back side, they will be aligned to each other exactly. And in this arrangement, right, we will take the dihedral angle to be equal to 0. So the dihedral angle in this case will be equal to 0. This is the eclipsed. This is the eclipsed form. Okay. So from here, if you move it by an angle of 60, what we will get is a staggered form. So we can see that now the rotation angle is what? 60 degrees, and we are getting the staggered form. Okay. So for ethane, in case of the staggered form, the dihedral angle is going to be 60. And if you look at some asymmetric alkene or asymmetric compound where we have the conformational isomers, like in this case we can see the diol. Okay, so 1,2 ethane diol. So we see that the arrangement where the OH groups exactly align with respect to each other, this is the eclipsed. Okay, and if we move it relatively, then we are going to get the gauche form. Then when the OH group on the backside carbon and the OH group of the front carbon, they are exactly on opposite side in terms of orientation, then we will call it as the anti-arrangement. Then if the OH groups of one carbon and the hydrogens of other carbon, they are facing each other, this will be partially eclipsed. Fully eclipsed means what? The OH and OH, they will face each other. Okay, and you can see hydrogens also will face each other similarly. This is the eclipsed, fully eclipsed. This will be called as what? Partially eclipsed. Okay, so in the case of the asymmetric groups attached to alkane, then we can have the eclipsed, partially eclipsed, gauche, and then anti-arrangements. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 1999. When acetylene is passed through dilute sulfuric acid in the presence of HgSO4, the compound formed is. So what is this? This is a reaction where we are adding water. So acetylene is ethyne. When it is passed through dilute H2SO4 in the presence of HgSO4, mercuric sulfate, we are going to add H2O, and this addition will be Markovnikov addition. In case of higher alkynes, we have to consider this, but here it is a very simple thing. We have both carbons are identical carbons, so we add hydrogen to one and OH group to other. Okay, so we are going to get enol. After adding water, we are going to get enol, and the enol can tautomerize itself. Enol can tautomerize itself into the corresponding aldehyde. Okay, so enol can tautomerize itself into, so if you look at this enol, right, CH2, CH, OH, the double bond can be shifted and the hydrogen, so the corresponding aldehyde will be what? Acetaldehyde. And the tautomerism is not an isomerism phenomena, it is a phenomena where the compound will interchange. the enol form and ketone or aldehyde form will interchange depending upon the relative stability. The relative amounts of the substance will actually exist. If the enol form is more stable, means we will see more amount of enol form existing. If the ketone or aldehyde form is more stable, means we will see more amount of the ketone or the aldehyde form existing. Okay, so here the compound that is formed is acetaldehyde, which is the tautomeric form of the enol that is getting formed. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 1999. In Fidelcraft's alkylation, besides AlCl3, the other reactants are. So what will be the other reactants? Previously also we talked about it. So we have benzene, which is C6H6, if it is reacting with methyl chloride in the presence of the Lewis acid as the substance AlCl3. So the AlCl3 will react with CH3Cl to form AlCl4 minus and CH3 plus. CH3 plus is the electrophile that will attack the benzene ring for the electrophilic substitution. So the other reactants that are required will be C6H6 and the CH3Cl. So the after the methyl group or the methyl carbocation is substituting onto the benzene ring, we will get toluene. So toluene is the product that we will be getting. So in this case, if you look at option B, right, option B is talking about what? C6H6 and CH4. Okay, so we will require alkyl halide. For the Fidelcraft's alkylation, we will require what? Alkyl halide. We will require alkyl halide along with the Lewis acid, AlCl3 and benzene. So NH3 is also not possible. The CH3COCl is Fidelcraft's acylation. This will give us what? The COCH3 group that is getting substituted onto the benzene. This will be Fidelcraft's acylation reaction. So for alkylation, we will be requiring C6H6 and CH3Cl. Okay, I mean, not that we have to always have methyl chloride. So we will generally have the RCl. So R is the alkyl group. So depending upon what is the alkyl group that is there, the respective substituted compound will be getting formed. Next, we have a question that has come in the year 99 as well as 98. It has come in the multiple years. Which of the following compounds will be most easily attacked by the electrophile? So we are talking about the relative ease of electrophilic substitution reactions. Talking about the relative ease of electrophilic substitution reactions. Now when the ring is activated, right, means what? The electrophilic substitution reactions will happen more easily. So if you look at the option C is benzene. Okay, option A we have OH group, option B we have Cl group, option D we have methyl group. OH, Cl, methyl, all of them will be ortho para directing groups, but for different reasons. Okay, see, OH group will be ortho para directing because it can donate the lone pair of electrons and oxygen through the plus R effect, whereas the methyl will be able to activate the ring because of the plus R effect, which is due to the hyperconjugation structures. Mainly this is attributed for the hyperconjugation structures. So where if you look at the hyperconjugation structures of the toluene, so we have a methyl group, we will have 3 hydrogens. One of the carbon hydrogen bond electrons are taken away, leaving the hydrogen without any bond, and that will be used for forming of the bond between the methyl carbon and the benzene ring carbon. So we will see the delocalization of the electrons within the benzene rings. Ortho para will attain the negative charge, but this plus R effect between the two will be more prominent in the case of the OH group, because here it is due to the delocalization of lone pair of electrons present on oxygen, and in case of the toluene it is because of the hyperconjugation structures. So hence in both the cases, right, both in case of the toluene as well as the phenol, the ring will be getting activated, but this will be more activated in the case of the phenol. Whereas if you look at the chlorobenzene, so chlorobenzene is also ortho-para directing group, but this is the exception. So generally ortho-para directing groups will be the groups where we'll have the plus R effect and they will activate the ring. The exception being the halogens attached to the benzene ring. So along with the plus R, halogens, because of their electronegativity, high electronegativity, they will show minus I effect. So the halogens attached to the benzene ring, they will show, like in the case of this chlorine, it will show a plus R effect because the chlorine is having a lone pair of electrons. It will also show minus I effect because of the high electronegativity of the halogens. And generally the resonance effect will be more dominating than inductive effect. But the exception will be halogens, where the inductive effect will be more dominating. So the chlorine or bromine or iodine or fluorine, they will be still ortho-para directing, but since the minus effect of the halogens is more prominent, they will net deactivate the ring. So here we are looking at in which case the most easy electrophilic substitution happens. So it will be not happening when the ring is deactivated. So here in this case, what is happening? The ring is getting deactivated, chlorobenzene. So it is not this case. Option C is the reference, okay. And option A and D both are activated, ring is activated, but it is more activated in the case of option A, where we have the OH group attached. So the one that will show easily electrophilic substitution reactions will be phenol. So this is about the part 6 video, and we will see in the part 7.